When was the last time your father hugged you? Or when did he last tell you, I love you? You don't remember, do you? Actually, it's not because he was a bad father. Not at all because he didn't love you. Because no one had ever hugged him either. This is the silent tragedy that Gen X experiences. Gen X, born between 1965 and 1980, is known as a strong, resilient, quiet, hardworking, and uncomplaining generation. But no one wonders about the real reason behind all these traits. How did they really become like this? Research has shown that Gen X is also the most reluctant group among all generations to seek professional help. So why? Because what they were taught was always this: grit your teeth. Life isn't easy. You must always be strong. Although these sentences seem like advice, they were actually imposed on them as a survival rule. Gen X is also known as the Latchkey Generation, the generation of children who came home with a key around their neck. So where did this term come from? Research conducted in the 1980s showed that 15% of children aged 5 to 13 returned home after school without adult supervision. This rate reached up to 40% in some regions. Mom and dad are working. The house is empty. The child is alone. While this provided valuable qualities like independence and being able to stand on one's own feet, it also brought emotional loneliness. Most Gen X parents were baby boomers, so what did boomer parenting style mean? Children must be resilient. Don't spoil them too much. Life will toughen them up. Instead of emotional support, practical solutions were offered. Don't cry, solve it. Don't be sad, endure. Don't ask for help, handle it. Many Gen X adults consider seeking professional support for stress management as unnecessary. In Gen Z, this rate drops to 19%. Isn't the difference between generations quite dramatic? Gen X is also quite resistant about asking for help, even sometimes in admitting that they need help, because they were taught this: don't tell anyone about your problems, don't ask anyone for help. Today, when you ask a Gen Xer, how are you? The answer is always ready. I'm fine. This I'm fine doesn't actually mean they're fine. It just means they never learned to say anything else. Gen X parents struggle to put their feelings into words. They especially refrain from revealing their emotional bonds with their children and discussing emotional topics with them. This lack of emotional connection is also reflected in their marriages. Gen X has the highest divorce rate among all generations. They appear strong on the outside, but they are lonely inside. This loneliness is not social loneliness. This is an unspeakable loneliness that they never let us hear about. And the most painful part: while Gen X parents try to teach their children the resilience they think they possess, they unknowingly also teach emotional distance. Boys don't cry. Be strong. Don't worry. Now Millennial and Gen Z children have grown up, and what they most often tell therapists is, no one in my family reveals or expresses their feelings. Yes, they love me very much. I feel it, but I can never hear it from them. I can't talk to my father. There's always a distance. Gen X tried to give strength to their children, but unknowingly, they also gave silence. And now, as of 2026, Gen X is between 46 to 61 years old. The Harvard study of adult development's 85-year research showed this: the most important factor in human happiness is not wealth, career, or success, it's quality relationships. But what Gen X learned over 40 years and tried to teach their children was to be able to stand upright, not to be able to build relationships. When they look back, what they see is they were strong, they were resilient, but they never allowed themselves. They didn't allow themselves to be weak. They didn't allow themselves to ask for help, even when they really needed it. And perhaps most importantly, they didn't even allow themselves to feel. Perhaps they have started to notice some things and begun to feel their effects, because depression rates in the Gen X generation have increased by nearly 20% over the last 20 years. But treatment-seeking rates still remain the same, because their habit of being strong continues. This may have been a learning for them at first, yes, but now it has become their lifestyle. This is their way of living, And ultimately, no matter what the circumstances, strong people don't ask for help. This video is not to blame Gen X. This is to make visible the price they had to pay. Because some prices aren't paid with money, some are paid with silence. And Gen X learned to stay silent very well. Every way of being has a price. The price of being strong is being alone.